show when they have this encounter with the people that have the addiction? Intervention. Look at somebody and tell them, I had an intervention. Yeah. It is a place where we get to that when there is nothing else left, where we can turn to nobody else, and our situation has gotten out of hand to we can no longer control, even though we desire, but we can't control. Tell somebody it's time for an intervention.
It's time for an intervention.
He said, but now you got to understand that my sight is not on what I want, but it is on what Christ wants. And what encouraged me is that if my eyesight is on what Christ wants, then he's going to give me the resource to obtain the goal. Look at somebody and tell them, what are you looking at? Tell them, what is your view? Tell them, what do you see?
What do you see?
So now you got to understand, it is not about a physical sight. It is about a spiritual insight, which means that you got to see it before you can achieve it. So now Paul was saying that I am not one that have apprehended, which means I'm not where I want to be, but I know where I'm going. There is a goal that has been set, not by me, but a greater goal that I have made in my mind to achieve. It's greater, but it's a higher calling. Now understand, a higher calling requires more. Tell somebody, tell them it requires more. Now here's what the Lord showed me. Get out of the way. Let me give you the subject. Let me give you the subject. And he says, I count myself not to have apprehended, but one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. The subject is a detachable lifestyle. Check somebody and tell them a detachable lifestyle. Y'all ain't got it yet, but you can get it later. Because one thing you got to understand, that where God is trying to get you, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a crowd going with you to get what you want. Tell somebody, you got to learn how to release something. And watch this. The enemy always want to hold you captive by past incident. He always want to make you feel guilty about things that have happened in the past. But you got to remember that those things are no longer relevant now, because the blood has covered everything that's in my past. Because now I'm not pressing towards what I used to go after. I'm pressing at something new, which was going to give me a new beginning. So now he said, I'm forgetting all those things that are behind. In other words, I'm learning to detach myself from things that will hold me back. Look at somebody and tell them, sometimes your past can hold you back. As the judicial system works, it mostly keeps records of your history. It mostly bring up stuff that you was condemned and served time for long time ago. But look at somebody and tell them, between then and there, I had an intervention. I sat down and I discussed my issue and found out that my past problem has been eliminated, eradicated, gotten rid of, because of the blood. So now I must get a new view and understand that everything that I come in contact now, I must make myself detachable, which means I must become one that is able to release and let go anything that tries to prevent me from reaching a goal. Tell somebody, detach yourself.
Detach yourself.
Now I thought about how that we're going into the new year. And how that everybody is prone to make New Year's resolutions. And you got to understand that New Year's resolution doesn't change the fact that you still got to deal with things on the way to your new resolution. And see, what makes it difficult is that you put it out. Now you got to try to achieve it. Just touch somebody and tell them, just do it. Just do it. Yeah. You ain't got to let everybody know what you're trying to do, because your life is going to show them what you're after. So I told him, I said, the only thing that I want to make a new resolution on is define the will of God. Because in the will of God, there is everything that I need, everything that I desire, everything. This is is a serious thing, because now you got to understand there are things that will attach themselves to hold you back. So he said, that I may lay hold of that which Christ Jesus has laid hold of me, brethren. I do not count myself as apprehended, which means I haven't got there yet. So when I make mistakes, don't judge me because you feel that because I profess to be that I should be. But what you got to understand, that I'm pressing. The idea of pressing, it means there is a force ahead of you, which means you got to go through some things. If it was so easy to get there, there wouldn't be a press. But because there are press, it signifies that it's worth the push to get what is stored for you. When they look at the word prize in the Greek, it means target or means finish. One thing you got to understand, that you must keep your eyes on the prize. You can't look to the left. You can't look to the right. You can't be distracted, because a lot of things come in your life to distract you from the prize. Is it easy? It ain't going to be easy, because the enemy knows what to bring to you in order to get you off track. But tell somebody, I made up my mind that I must have a detachable lifestyle. So when anything, y'all ever seen Lego, is that what they call them? It is a toy that a young man gets that you can detach. But watch this, but you can rebuild. Because it's designed to attach to anything that will cause you to rebuild a new structure. The difficult thing is that sometimes we must learn who to connect with, because sometimes it becomes difficult to detach from things that you love. But a real detachable lifestyle means that I'm going to have to detach from things that I really love. In other words, I got to learn how to give up something that I don't want to give up in order to get to what I don't want to get. Watch this. Go to Luke 14 and 26. 14 and 26. I need somebody to get that and read it for me. I just want to give you an example of how tough this is and what you got to do. 14 and 26. Right quickly. Just tell somebody, tell them it's going to be all right. Yeah. Just tell them as long as you are here. That's what really matters. And as long as you're hanging out, that's what really matters. Because what God is about to do now is to teach you how to detach from things that will prevent you from getting where you go. Who has it? Read it right quickly.
If any man come to me and hate